Well, good Saturday morning to you, everyone, and welcome to Coach's Corner this morning, live from Hardy's on this blustery Saturday morning. It was chilly last night at the football game. Chilly here this morning as well, as we will go back to last night and a game that was heard on K104 and online at KSDMradio.com. The Bronco football team was in Virginia to face the 1-4 Blue Devils, and after a scoreless first quarter that saw the Broncos hold Virginia without a first down, and the Broncos move into Blue Devil territory on 3 separate occasions. They just couldn't push it into the end zone. Virginia brought junior quarterback Bo Foy into the game. Foy established the run for the Blue Devils, and he eventually threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Drew Aho to put Virginia up 7-0 right before the half. The third quarter was also scoreless, and a fumble early in the fourth quarter gave Virginia great field position. They took advantage of that, scored a TD, scored one late in the ballgame with about 2 minutes left, and they defeat the Broncos by a score of 21-0 as the Falls falls to 0-6 on the season. Some stats from last night: Nick Hedke, 29 carries, 82 yards. Simon Palm, 7 carries, 27 yards with a long of 13. Both those guys will be joining us here in a few minutes. Tyler Caulfield went 5 for 14 passing at 47 yards. Aaron Bennett, who will be here in a few minutes, he had 2 catches for 35 yards. And Armando Barrios, who is also here, he had two receptions. Bennett had 2 receptions for 35, and Barrios 2 for 14 yards last night. So you look at the stats from last night, team-wise, Broncos 120 yards rushing, 47 passing, so a total of 167 yards. And they controlled the ball. They had it for 65 plays last night. Flip side for Virginia, they had 185 yards rushing on 40 carries, just 28 yards passing. So total yardage 213 for Virginia compared to 167 for the Falls, and Virginia ran just 48 plays. So the Broncos I would say, and I'm not going to use the word dominate, but controlled the game for major parts of the game. Just could not put the ball into the end zone. They are at Brooklyn Center next Friday at 5 o'clock. Pre-game start at 4:40 on K104 and online at KSDMradio.com. The Liverpool Big Falls Vikings football team traveled to Babbitt on Friday afternoon, and they lose by a final score of 66-12 to Northeast Range. They are also 0-6 on the season. Let's talk about some of the high school football scores from last night in the area, and there were some, again, I say it I think every Friday, folks, but there were some just darn interesting scores, and it starts right with the first one that I'm going to give you. Esco, who was 0-5, they defeat Pine City 34-12. Pine City defeated Moose Lake Willow River on their home field last week. I'm having a hard time figuring things out, folks, as Esco gets their first win of the season. Here's another head scratcher. Hibby, who looked so dominant the first few weeks. They scored 42 points against Hermantown. Last night they lose to Duluth Denville 42-13. I can't figure it out. Big Lake defeated Duluth East 49-28. Evelyn Gilbert continues to win. They beat St. Agnes 35-0 at home. Bemidji loses to Ricori 27-7. Here's another head scratcher. Moose Lake Willow River loses at Crosby Ironton 37-36. Not that Crosby's not a good team. They're coming to town in a week and a half on MEA Wednesday for the Broncos. But for Moose Lake to lose 3 times during the regular season, now they're 3-3 on the season, that just makes you scratch your head. Hermantown and Grand Rapids were tied at 14 after a quarter. Hermantown scores the final 24 points of the game to win 38-14. Proctor down 7-6 with under 2 minutes to go. Blocks a punt, gets the ball down inside the 10-yard line, kicks a 25-yard field goal to defeat Croquet 9-7. Aiken 27-20 over Mora. Two Harbors in Greenway, Nashwauk, Keewatin. Well, this is basically for the number 2 seed. Proctor is probably going to be the number 1 for sure now with the win over Cloquet last night. Greenway and Two Harbors battling for the number 2 seed for the section tournament. And Greenway, Nashwauk, Keewatin comes up with a 54-46 win. 100 points scored in that game. That is absolutely crazy. Greenway again, Greenway, Nashwauk, Keewatin comes away with the win. That'll almost assuredly put them into the 2 seed. Two Harbors in the 3. And right now we would sit Virginia 4, Esco 5, and the Falls 6 for the 6 teams in Section 7-3A. Deer River defeats Wasabi East 36-20. Southridge all over McGregor 52-20. Northwoods gets a forfeit from Big Fork. I didn't get any details on why that was or what happened. Big Fork just too many injuries. I know they started the year with very few players, but Northwoods gets that win by forfeit. Rush City over Chisholm 32-8. Cromwell 59, Carlton 0. Silver Bay defeats MIB 22-12. Floodwood 30-26, better than Renshaw. Kellier Northholm 44-18 over Lake of the Woods. Ely goes to Wisconsin and defeats Siren, Wisconsin 37-20. Rogers, Mark Franz and his crew have a good football team. I'm wondering how good is Elk River? Elk River absolutely smashed St. Michael Albertville either last week or the week before. They dumped Rogers last night 49-7. I was astounded by that score. And one more score, Brooklyn Center loses to St. Anthony Village 23-14. That's who the Broncos play next week. Brooklyn Center sitting at 2-4 on the season. Rainy River Volleyball was at home last night taking on Fond du Lac. Very dominant were the Voyagers last night. They won 25-11, 25-8, 25-12. Maddie Filipiak had 11 kills. Cassandra Moffat out of Fort Francis, 6 kills and 7 ace serves. AJ Ori, 25 set assists. The Voyagers are now 14-8 on the season overall, 8-2 in the Northern Division, and they will have a home match on Wednesday night, and it is sophomore night. It's the final home match of the year at 6:30 against Vermilion. And they will be honoring the sophomores, as I mentioned, Maddie Filipiak, AJ Ori, Monica Vidoni, Cassandra Moffat, and Jordan Switzer. Let's change gears and let's look at the college hockey from last night. Out of the WCHA, Bemidji State over Bowling Green 2-1. Minnesota State Mankato dumps Michigan Tech 3-1. Denver loses to Ohio State 3-2. Notre Dame all over Arizona State 9-2. Wisconsin falls to Northern Michigan 3-2. Penn State loses to St. Lawrence 6-3. The Gophers defeat Alaska Anchorage 6-0. Colorado College drops a 3-0 decision to Massachusetts. Minnesota Duluth and Massachusetts Lowell escaped to a 4-4 overtime tie. Looked like Lowell had won it in overtime, but the goal was disallowed. North Dakota defeats Canisius 6-0. Western Michigan 2-1 over Ferris State. In women's college hockey, all of these games in the WCHA last night. Number 2 in the nation, Minnesota, downs Bemidji State 3-1. Number 7, North Dakota 1-0 over St. Cloud State. Number 6, UND over Mankato 4-0. And number 1 in the nation, Wisconsin defeats Ohio State by a score of 3-0. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs are in full swing. Toronto on the road in Texas defeats them for the second straight time, so Toronto's heading home for tomorrow's game 3, leading 2-0. Cleveland defeats Boston as they head back to Boston. Cleveland leads that series 2-0. The Dodgers defeat the Nationals in their first game of the NLDS on that side, so they lead 1-0. That game, second game, will be played today. And then also last night, the Cubbies hit a home run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they defeat San Francisco by a score of 1-0. What's happening today? It's a pretty busy day. The girls swimming and diving team is down at Denfeld for an invitational. The diving started a few minutes ago. Swimming goes off at noon. The Bronco volleyball team is at the ESCO tournament, always this weekend in October. They're down there. They're in a pool with very good Hermantown and Denfeld and Salford. Not that those teams aren't good, but Hermantown's one of the top teams in Section 7-2A. So the Broncos will get to play them right at around 10 o'clock. And then they get Seltridge and Duluth Denfeld, and then they'll play a match against somebody else. So the Broncos have 4 3-set matches today, and then they've got 2 regular seasons at home this coming week to wrap up their regular season as they host a very good Greenway on Tuesday, and they play Deer River on Thursday. The Fort Francis Lakers hockey team right now winless. They're 0-4 on the season. They are down at Hoyt Lakes tonight to take on the Minnesota Iron Rangers at 7:30. In college football, the Gophers and Iowa, they take on each other for Floyd of Rosedale, the Pig as they call it. That game starts at 11 o'clock, and you can see it on ESPN2. In other local college games, St. John's is at Augsburg. Bemidji State takes on Northern State. UMD is in Minot. Those games all go off at 1 o'clock. North Dakota State at 2 o'clock at Missouri State. And then North Dakota, who got a big win over Cal Poly last week. They're out at Sacramento State. That game's at 8 o'clock. Top 25 tonight. Today or tonight, a big game in Texas as number 9 Tennessee takes on number 8 Texas A&M. Virginia Tech and UNC will go through the hurricane. They're going to play through it as number 25 Virginia Tech takes on number 17 North Carolina. Number 1 Alabama is at number 16 Arkansas. And number 23 Florida State is at number 10 Miami. And I think that game actually got postponed, and I forgot to write it into my notes. What's happening on Sunday? The Vikings look to improve to 5-0 on the season. They are at home against Houston at noon. The Chicago Bears are at Indianapolis at noon, and the Eagles travel to Detroit to take on the Lions at noon. The Packers play tomorrow night at 7:30 as they play host to the Giants, who get to play the late night 2 weeks in a row. And the Minnesota Lynx, they get their championship series against the Los Angeles Spartans started on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock in that best of 5 game series. We'll take a short break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk to the Bronco football team. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online KSDMradio.com. Welcome back to Hardee's for our second segment, joined by 4 members of the Bronco football team, Aaron Bennett and Nick Hedke, seniors and sophomores, Armando Barrios and Simon Palman. Your first time, or did I have you on once before? No, not once we had a hockey, no. First timer, so we're breaking in some new bodies this morning, and of course, the other 2 seniors, they've been here too many times. Hedke is like a regular. I mean, he's even got his own chair, I think, labeled with his name on it. Guys, let's head back to last night. It was a game, and this is my perspective. Now, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on this. I thought you guys maybe didn't dominate, but you controlled the first quarter, and then what in your guys' minds changed? All of a sudden, it seemed like Virginia took over a little bit. What maybe was the difference? Simon, you want to take that one?
I don't know. When they had that new quarterback in, and they just kept driving down the field, we couldn't stop that. That hurt.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, because that was my perception a little bit too. Why couldn't we stop them? And I know it's tough when you're playing always to see it. What was the difference between the shotgun quarterback running that they were doing versus what they were running otherwise? Was it something that you play linebacker, you're playing a linebacker, you were playing on the line when you're playing safety? What was different about what you were seeing that made that play difficult to stop? Armando, you want to? You know, Nick, how about you?
Well, I think they had that big number 63, and they'd always put him.
Is he as big as he looks?
He is big. He's a tall guy.
6'7", 295. Everybody, Bryce Kennedy, just to let everybody know who that big guy is.
They would put him on the side usually. That they'd have number 9 running at. Number 9 he was pretty big too. So. Our linebackers could have probably filled better, but we were able to stop them somewhat after 5 yards.
And I like the in my peripheral vision, I can see Palm over there shaking his head. Yes, the linebackers, and he's one of those linebackers that you're talking about. And you're saying we could have done a better job, and I like that reaction to it. It to me, and I'm thinking now, of course, we're rattling along here. You were playing against 63 a few times, I suspect. Did you think about just log rolling them and getting them so he couldn't be a big greeter?
Oh yeah, there was.
Or is that too scary?
No, there's a few times I try to hit him in the thighs, but he was a big guy, and it was just difficult to try to even pull up. He wasn't as good. He was just so big he could just grab on you and control you guys.
Grab onto you, that's not legal, right?
Well, he'd get up under my path and push me back in. Doesn't have to. He's really strong too. He's just a huge dude.
Let's talk about the offense. Early on in the ball game, you guys run a little. No. You keep on. You hang on. I'm coming to you. You guys run the Maryland eye, and things seem to be going pretty smooth. I'm very happy with what I see. And then we decide all of a sudden we're going to go back to last week. We're going to go shotgun. We're going to spread out. And I'm like, I don't like what I'm seeing. And you get a -1 yard carry. Nick, I'm going right back and putting it all up. And then they throw the pass to you off the flat. And you gain 27 yards, Aaron. Was that some play that we have been practicing for a while? Because all of a sudden Nick gets out in front, and I think it was Simon, I think when you were on that side on that play on the big, and they get you a couple blocks and you get to the outside. Is it something that you've been working on for a while, or was it something you put in this week here?
We've been working on it since the Greenway game. Before the Greenway game, we did X and Y screen, and it worked exactly like it was in practice. Just have a couple lead blockers and get to that.
Now Armando might not agree with you that it didn't work so well because I think when they went to the other side, he saw a host of white jerseys coming at you. Did you feel like, where's my blocking?
Yeah, I ran to the inside when I should have ran to the outside.
Well, and there's always that decision when you're running the ball that you got to make that decision whether you're going to break to the inside or the outside. So you guys are 7-0 at halftime. What's the mood of the team going down into the end zone, Armando? What do you see in your teammates' faces? What was the look in everybody's eyes?
Nobody was going to quit. And we went back out and just kept working on this. Just going to stop all this.
Yeah, you get to the end of the third quarter. It's still 7-0, Simon. It just seemed like, and this was my perception, and Josh Koenig and I got a chance to talk about it on the way home. It just looked like maybe they wore us down a little bit, and we just couldn't get that stopped. When it was 7-0, we just couldn't get that stopped. Would you agree with that, or was there something else that maybe Josh and I didn't see?
Yeah, I agree. They kind of got worn down. We don't get very many rotations starts, and it doesn't help when we have 50 running the ball the whole first quarter.
I loved him running the ball the whole first quarter. I love watching 2-5 run the ball, and I know that means that you're not running the ball, and you had some good touches. You had some.
I'm not worried about that.
I understand that, but you got some great touches. You gave a good compliment. Do you know how many times you carried the ball last night?
I'm not aware. It felt like a lot.
It felt like a lot.
Definitely a lot.
It was 29 times. Did it feel like 29
Yeah, I
times?
felt like I was a sophomore.
Whoops. There you go. So usually when we run the Maryland Eye in the past, the stacked 3 running backs in a row, you usually been the front guy, the guy doing the blocking most of the time. No? Or you been the guy in the back sometimes?
Well, last year when we put in the Maryland, I was usually fullback. They put me at 2-back for that. So.
How did you like that angle, that view of the game from that far?
I like that. I could get going. I'd be going full speed by the time I got to the line of scrimmage.
So I want to ask you this question. As the game wore on, you kept creeping up a little bit closer to the line. You started the game at about 9 yards, and by the end of the game, you were at about 7 yards. Were you getting tired, or did you find that the timing was a little bit better if you were closer?
I was just, I gotta base it off of where Gus and Simon line up, and it differed. I just didn't line up in the same spot every time. I got a little tired, and it just differs, I guess.
Okay. So one thing, and I did the stats this morning, so I've already rewatched the game. I would guess none of you guys have rewatched the game yet this morning because I'm sure you slept in because that's what you needed to do. But one thing that I noticed about last night's game, and I'm not saying that it hasn't been happening in the other game, but I'm noticing the physicality of this team. It maybe disappeared 2 weeks ago against Evelyn, but I think to a man, I think we can say that game was not very physical. But last week against Greenway, I thought defensively we were very physical, and I thought, and I'm going to go back to my Evelyn statement. You were maybe the exception in that game, Aaron, because I think you had like 15 tackles in that game. But last night, there's a certain amount of physicality that I'm getting to see out of not just making tackles, but doing the little things of taking on blockers, defeating, shedding, and those kinds of things. Simon, you and Armando are very young players. Do you feel like you're starting to get the feel of how you got to play defense? Is it coming to you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's the number one thing that you guys know? You're 6 games into your sophomore season, played all the games on the varsity. I'll start with you, Armando. What's the number one thing that you've learned about playing defense? Because playing defense is not easy. Simon, what?
For me, it's mostly filling my hole hard and coming in and taking that blocker on.
It seems to me that we've gotten, over the last 2 weeks, and maybe this is why the reason for the physicality over the last couple of games, it seems like and you can tell me if I'm not, it seems like maybe we're taking a few more chances up front. We're doing a little more slanting, a little more stuff. We're playing a few more games up front. Do you guys feel like that has helped, or is it, and why has it helped? Who wants to take a shot at that one? How do you think that has helped?
Well, I know that since I'm calling the plays or whatever, I know that we're actually taking a lot of slants and stuff. So I think it's helped because the blocker never knows where our liner is going to go. Is he going to go left or is he going to go right? And where I'm coming from behind him.
I don't know, how about you? What do you see up front? Because now you got moved to corner. You've been playing a lot of linebacker. Now you're going out to the corner. How did that change for you this week, playing more on the perimeter?
I can't like go into the I can't like go into the C gap anymore because I was going to do so. So the end plan until that I have to fill the outside and then feel like taking off the ball too. So I just watch my reads. I want to make sure it doesn't go out for a pass.
Sure. How about you, Aaron? You've been playing safety, defensive end. Seems like you're all over the place, kind of. Well, we need this guy. We need to make a change, so he moves here, you move there. But you seem to be very aggressive coming up from the free safety position. Would you rather play defensive end or would you rather play free safety?
I like free safety better. I played defensive end the first 2 years and got moved to free safety this year. And just like coming up and reading the play and hitting whoever's coming in. If it's pass play, dropping back in.
Nick, you've also had to make a change on the defensive side of the ball. You were a linebacker for the last couple of years. You've had to play a lot of defensive line this year. Honest opinion, now you're here now. You don't have to say that you like. How do you like playing defensive line versus linebacker?
I like playing D line way better. I get to
Really?
yeah. I just like it. I get to make a hit half a second or less from when the ball's snapped. It's just I like making the contact. I can like feel where the play's going. You know, I like it better than playing linebacker.
I was not expecting that answer because I had a chance in my play days to play both of them as well, and I loved playing the linebacker position because you were out there in space and you got the flow and whatever else. So I mean, I was a lineman most of my life, but I got to play some linebacker, and I found that to be way more enjoyable. So I'm interested by your comment. That's interesting. So I'll take it. I'm not going to say you're wrong because you're not, because if you love it, man, that's good stuff. Let's move up to next week. We got Brooklyn Center coming up. Get a nice long bus ride to sit back. What movies are we watching on the way down? Playbook? That's the movie. We got our nose in the playbook. You don't think Coach is going to put a movie on for you?
I don't know. He might.
I hope so.
We hope so. That's a long ride. Get out and stretch a couple of times. What do you guys know about Brooklyn Center? Anything, or you guys just been focused on Virginia?
We haven't really watched any film on Brooklyn Center. We've been just focused on every week. And this week is Brooklyn Center, so we'll focus on running the plays. Be able to stop them and put a bunch of points on the board.
Well, guys, I want to thank you first of all for coming in after a road game. I know it's not easy to come in on a Saturday morning, but I do appreciate it, guys. Keep your nose to the grindstone here. Things are doing. Some of the things are very good. Other things we still need to keep working on. That's why we go back to practice. So keep doing what you've been doing, and let's get a win next Friday.
Yeah, thanks.
Aaron Bennett, Nick Hedke, Armando Barrios, and Simon Paul joining me here. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll be joined by Mike Bolstead. You're listening to Coach's Corner. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our third segment, and I'll be brutally honest. I was having a tough time getting the team to show up this morning. We've had the cross country teams on, and the Little Fork kids were busy. They had kind of an open weekend, and so the volleyball team was running off. So I was asking everybody, and everybody kept saying no. So I just settled for my post. Now, Mike, I appreciate you coming on. I'm giving you grief. My partner for Sports Back Talk, and we seem to be on the TV quite a bit. And so, what do you know? What's the word? You watch baseball, hockey? What did you watch last night? There had to be something that you viewed.
Actually, a movie called Spy.
Say that again.
A movie called Spy.
Spy.
It's not G-rated. It's Melissa McCarthy, and we all know who she is.
I know the movie you're talking about.
And a couple other people from that movie. What is it, Bridesmaids?
Yes. Yep.
They all kind of follow each other into different movies, and she had about 3 or 4 of those guys on there. It was good, entertaining, but boy, some use of the words that didn't necessarily need to be in the script, but they just kept using them, and I guess that's the only thing that really I didn't enjoy that much.
Well, let's where you want to start? You want to talk some football? You want to talk some hockey? Which one do you
Well,
want?
let's talk a little football first. But first of all, yeah, I mean, like I told you yesterday when you texted me to be on, I said, what am I, your 22nd?
Pretty close.
And you said, well, no, when you put a big smiley face.
Yeah.
So you know me, Ringer, I'm always good to go.
You are always good to go. Let's talk about the Vikings game from Monday night. What did you see? What piqued your interest? What made you a little nervous about the Vikes' performance as they moved to 4-0?
Well, if you go back and remember, I think I said it, and I'm not trying to take credit or anything, but I did say Manning wouldn't be standing in the pocket very long. He'd be doing quick 1 to 2 step drops and then let him do it. I think the longest pass they completed was about 15 yards. So I knew right there that the Vikings were going to have to be patient. They had to understand that they probably weren't going to get any sacks, which they didn't. So you got to sometimes the players when they're getting 3 a game, they're like Everson Griffin was, and they got to understand that not every game's going to be the same. It's probably going to be a little different this week with Houston, but against the Giants, you could tell what their game plan was. We got to see Odell Beckham at his best and. Or at his worst. He just doesn't get it. He's your typical NFL wide receiver on mold, like the Terrell Owens and the Des Bryant. It's all about him and not about the team, and something's got to be done there. But I really liked how the Vikings played overall, both offensively and defensively.
I was very surprised to watch Eli Manning basically just chuck the ball into the ground. I mean, and it not really big pressure. But I think they were very concerned of him even getting touched, it looked like. I mean, he was throwing the ball onto the ground so early. And I know last night we had, Josh and I had a big conversation on the way home. And John Gruden kept pounding on this point. And I think it goes to, at the college level, it goes down to the high school level. Teams need to have a tight end and need a fullback in the game to be able to run the football. He kept saying it over and over again, and I probably only watched maybe a third of the game. But to me, that was the number one thing that I got out of that broadcast. He must have said it 8 times that the Giants aren't going to be able to run the ball because they don't have a fullback and a blocking tight end. They don't have it, and they're not going to be able to move the ball. So it seems to me that was his whole message to the New York Giants. If you want to be a competitive football team, and the Vikings seem to do that more often than not. They do have somebody in there, a tight end, and somebody blocking, and I don't think they necessarily move the ball up and down the field, but it seemed like they did enough again, the offense, to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, Bradford's very good with play action passes, and he's moving Rudolph around and getting him open. Diggs, I mean, he basically spreads the ball around and hits the most possibly successful play. You know, he hits the guy that's open instead of trying to hit guys that maybe he wanted to make the big play on. But very smart, cerebral quarterback. I like how he plays. And Peter King, the old famed
Sports writer.
He came out this week and said Bradford's his quarter season MVP, which was kind of surprising considering he's only played 3 of the 4 games.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I guess.
Compliment.
Yeah, for sure. Diggs looks like he's out for tomorrow's game. I think I saw on a tweet yesterday that definitely takes a playmaker out of the lineup for tomorrow's game. But it just seems like Bradford will just, like you just said, will find somebody else to throw the ball to. He'll get to the open receiver.
Charles Johnson played good the other night. Obviously, they saw some things in the tape that they knew they could go up top with him. They tried it like 3 times and successful on 2 of them, and also Cordero. I mean, you get him playing. Quentin Treadwell's going to have a hard time finding the field this year, and you know, with Cordero, if he's on his game and he's figuring it out, there ain't a better athlete on this Vikings football team. He's a guy to watch, I think, this weekend. I think he's going to have a great game.
Vikings move to 5-0?
Yeah. So a home game. Houston's a little different. They're a little tougher team. They got, again, they're going against good wideouts like they have every week, it seems, this year. And Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins are both legitimate big-time players. And
we'll find Dave. He picked something up off that table.
And so, again, good wideouts. They got Lamar Miller in the backfield, probably one of the top 10 running backs in the NFL. And Brock Osweiler is their big question. Again, he won't be back there doing quick throws. He's going to have to get set a little more, and not as experienced as Eli. I predict the Vikings will have a couple sacks, could have a turnover for a touchdown, and I predict Vikings win by 10 points.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about football-wise? Something? How's the fantasy team doing there? Are you 4-0?
Well, I'm in 3 leagues.
Yeah.
In 2 of them, I'm 3-1, and I guess my 2 favorite leagues, I'm 3-1. These are both based on the Falls, and then I'm down in the White Bear Lake League, and I'm 1-3 in that. So I'm struggling down there, but I'm doing well. I'm happy with what I got, considering all the injuries I've had. I lost Keenan Allen and Amir Abdullah, so that's hurt me a little bit. I had a team probably good enough to win the title. Now I'm got to kind of win ugly and hope I can get in that top 3 where we win some more chips.
Sure. Let's move on to hockey. I had an interesting conversation with my uncle last night. He said he was listening to the UMD Bulldogs game, and they were playing Lowell, UMass Lowell last night, and the fact that there were 19 penalties, 19 power plays in the game last night, and that they had reported that there was another college game last night that had 19 power plays in it. You have been can I say it this way, a critic of college hockey, that it's the same thing recycled over and over again. Is this going to be the supreme downfall of college hockey if they've got 19 power plays in a hockey game?
Well, I guess the big question is I would have to see what happened
Sure.
to produce all these penalties. Were a bunch of retaliation? Was there a bunch of
No, it's 8 interference penalties. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the hooking, that kind of stuff away from the play and those kinds of things. A lot of interference calls. Apparently, NCAA has decided to crack down on that stuff, and you know that it happens early in the season that it's going to happen that way. But with 19 power plays, I think they said in the first 2 periods, they had only 5 minutes out of 40, 5 minutes that were 5-on-5 time.
Okay, well, I'd like to see Sandow's quotes on that. I'm sure he's pretty opinionated. He'll say what's on his mind. What he said.
He came into the press conference. I read this in the Duluth paper this morning, and he said he was very quiet when he came in, and then he said, that was interesting. And then went off about a few things, and I'm sure he didn't say anything about the officials because you don't want to get fined or suspended or anything like that, but it just seems like, I mean, hockey is a physical game, so there's got to be some bumping and whatever else, but it seems like maybe college hockey has went to the idea that, well, maybe if we've got more penalties, we'll have more scoring and the game will become more interesting. I don't know.
Well, again, the NHL cracked down on these interference calls, and basically the same thing happened. Is there was a bunch of calls early, and then they kind of let it go. But I understand the reasons they're doing it. But my biggest problem with refs in college hockey, and well, not so much the NHL, but college hockey, high school hockey, is a lot of these guys didn't play. Okay? So they got to understand that if there's interference that maybe changes the outlook of a play or a possible scoring chance, then yeah, call it. But if you got to understand, if it's not going to make a difference one way or another on what happens with the current play that's going on, why call it?
Well,
You're nitpicking, and it's slowing the game down, and coaches get frustrated. They don't show up on a Friday night to sit there and work on their power play and penalty kill. They want their guys to play the game, and that's how you get better.
Let's move on to the pro ranks. The Wild gets started this Thursday, and you probably can tell me who because I haven't looked that far ahead already, but probably Colorado because it seems like it's Colorado every year. I don't know what the deal is, but who do they open up with, and what do you see for the Wild early on in the season?
Well, the only hint I'll give you on who they're playing, they just acquired Nail Yakupov from the Edmonton Oilers for a prospect minor leaguer in a second round draft pick or a third round, depending on how the Blues do this year. I just told you they were. St. Louis, they play St. Louis on Thursday. I believe it's an away game. They are in St. Louis. Be a good opening test, and I do know this.
Here, go ahead.
Boudreaux is not happy
About
the way the Wild players play, and I knew this was going to happen. It's classic Boudreaux. He basically said, you are going to have some contact in this game to be successful. And one person in mind that he brought attention to was the Skravak kid who made the opening day roster last year. He's 6'5", 235. just a monster of a kid. You know me, I'm on Twitter. I don't do a lot of tweeting, but all I saw from him is I got to pick up my game. He said that like 3-4 different times in quotes on Michael Russo articles. And I'm going, kid, the biggest thing he needs to quit doing is making comments like that. Just go out and do it. Don't sit there and say, I need to pick up my game. Well, you didn't do it, and now you're sitting in Iowa, and it tells you even more so that the talent you do have and the skill you have, and nobody picked you up on waivers, kind of tells you where your game is. So he's a little disappointed, Boudreaux is, in the fact that they got a lot of skill, but they won't hit anybody. And I've been saying this for the last 3-4 years. The NHL's a tough place to play. You got to play in front of the net. You got to smack guys around. You got to play within 5 feet of the goal, and you got to score those ugly goals. And the Wild have not been a team that'll be willing to go in there and score those ugly goals, and that's how you win in the NHL. And unless you're Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, I mean, that's one of the few teams that can get away with it.
So I think we both agreed back when they hired Boudreaux back in the summer that maybe the team and the coaching staff weren't the right mix. They weren't all on the same page. Who wins the battle, the coach or the players? Who goes first? Boudreaux's obviously going to get a year or two to probably make things happen. Does that mean that that Fletcher becomes very busy and starts sending people out the door?
That's a great point. I talked to Bob Mason quite a bit on this, and told him, I said, Yo actually is the coach that understands how this team needs to play to win. He understood the makeup of that squad. He knew what they had to do. The problem he had towards the end is the players quit listening to what he had to do, and you saw the result. They kept losing and losing. They wanted to play a certain game. Well, you can play that game, but you still have to have knowledge of where your defensive end is. You can't be giving up scoring chances. You got to block shots. So Yo knew exactly how the Wild had to play to win. He understood the makeup. Boudreaux's learning that, and the only way this Wild team will be successful is if they play the system that Boudreaux wants them to. That's fact. And the players can't run the roost anymore, and guys like Gary Suter and Zach Parise and all my 24-year-olds have been waiting to develop. Those guys all need to step up. The Coyles, the Zuckers, the Brandmans. It's time to step up, guys. You're 24, and none of you really were on. None of you were on that under 21 team or 22 team for real. Right. So I saw the pace of those guys. I'm looking over at Edmonton and St. Louis, who had a bunch of guys off these teams. And wow, Nashville's another one. We're gonna have a hard time. And I think I told you, I don't think they'll be a playoff team. I really don't. And Boudreaux's going to have a tough time with it. We'll see if I'm right.
We'll see if you're right. Well, I appreciate you coming in, Mike.
My pleasure as always.
I appreciate you coming in, having a cup of coffee, and getting the chance to chat with you. We get to do it every week, but it's always good to do it twice.
Tomorrow then?
I think for Monday, right?
Monday, yeah. Monday at 6:30.
Yeah, give or take a little bit.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Breakfast sandwich for me?
Absolutely. We'll take a break and we'll come back with the final segment. You're listening to Coach's Corner. Welcome back to the final segment of Coach's Corner. Thanks to my guests, the Bronco football team, Simon Paul, Armando Barrios, the head team, and Aaron Bennett joining me here. And of course, always Mike Bolson, who loves to come in and chat sports. We are two of a kind. In that case, we love to do it. Let's go back to this past week. A week ago, Saturday, the Voyagers, wow, did they come up with a dandy. They take on number one, undefeated in the Northern Division, Central Lakes, and they come away with a 3-0 win, 25-20, 25-22, and 27-25. Matty Flipiak had a huge day, 14 kills, 11 digs, 4 ace blocks, 2 ace serves, just a huge day. Cassandra Moffat, she adds in 13 kills, 9 digs, and 2 blocks. And Ariana Ori, 35 set assists. Also at the start of last week, Matty Flipiak was named the Northern Division Hitter of the Week as the Voyagers won all 3 of their matches. Flipiak had 43 kills with an attacking percentage of .395, which is outstanding. And the center of the week was AJ Ori from the Voyagers. She has the most set assists in the Northern Division so far this season with 502, and she had 103 in the 3 matches last week. So congratulations to them. Also last Saturday, a few of the Broncos headed down to the Swain Lexi Erickson, she takes 32nd out of 216 runners in the girls varsity, and in the boys varsity, out of 244 runners, John Coleman takes 90th, and Hunter Wilson 111. Also last Saturday, the Lakers, they lose 6-5 to Thunder Bay. They were down 2-0 after the first, and then 4-3 after the second. Maverick Lines, Matt Cheatham, Jared Vertinen, and Matt Tustin had goals for the Lakers as they lose 6-5. Then on Sunday afternoon, they lose by a final score of 4-3 in a shootout as Dylan Cooner, Jared Vertinen, and Matt Tustin again. They had the single goals for the Lakers as they fell to 0-4 on the season. No games in the area on Monday. Tuesday, the Bronco volleyball team defeated Chisholm in 3 sets, 25-14, 25-22, 25-22. Bailey Millette, she had 6 kills. Emma Gilbert had 7 kills. Jenna Sullivan, 9. Janet Hubbard, 3 kills, 4 ace serves. And Lauren Radio, 21 digs out of the back row. Also on Tuesday, the Little Fort Big Falls Vikings volleyball team, they drop a 3-set-0 decision to Cherry, 25-19, 25-18, 25-20. Kaylee Kennedy led the way with 8 kills. Danielle Pekarski and Mackenzie Swenson each had 6 kills. On Wednesday, the Voyager volleyball team defeats Hibbing on Wednesday night. They lose the first set, but then they win 2, 3, and 4. Sandy Thompson led the team with 15 kills and 24 digs. That's a huge night. Addie Filipiak adds in 14 kills and 3 blocks. AJ Ori, 45 set assists in that 4-set match for the Voyagers on Wednesday night. Thursday, the Bronco volleyball team hosted Evelyn Gilbert, and they come away with the match win in 4 sets, 25-13, 25-15, 21-25, and 25-13. And I think the girls will tell you they didn't play their best, but they got a win, and that's the important part. Bailey Millette, 5 kills. Cassie Puller, 6 kills. Emma Gilbert, she led the way with 10 kills. Jenna Sullivan adds 9 kills and 5 ace blocks. Also on Thursday, the Bronco cross country teams are down in Hibbing. Lexi Erickson in the girls race, she takes 3rd as the girls team finished 7th overall. The boys team finished 5th overall behind GNK, Esco, Ely, and Moose Lake Willow River. And Coach Paul Jelly was here a couple weeks ago, and I think those were the 4 teams. He said these are the teams that we're competing against. So the Broncos got a pretty good feel of where they're going to be sitting. Individually, Jake Erickson took 3rd, John Coleman 21st, Hunter Wilson 26th, Joe Lowak 28th, and Bronco Laughlin 34th. Also got the Bronco trap shooting results for the week on Thursday. Brady Matthews, 46 out of 50. What a great week. Darius Bowler, 44 out of 50. Cole Mann, also 44. Gage Bergstrom and Devin Reimer each had 43. The Broncos girls swimming and diving team was down in Grand Rapids on Thursday for a 17 invitational. The Broncos take 2nd place overall. Great finish. The girls individual 200 medley relay of Stone, Sari, Meisner, and Herzig yet to be defeated. We'll see if they can continue that streak today as they win that event in 2:01:04. Lindsay Lucy 3rd in the 200 free. Caroline Stone was 3rd in the 200 IM. Alyssa Mathis 3rd in the diving. 1st place for Emma Meisner in the 100 butterfly. 2nd place for Anna Early in the 100 free. 200 free relay of Early, Stone, Meisner, and Herzig takes 3rd, and Emily Sari takes 2nd in the 100-yard breaststroke. What's coming up this week? Well, as I forgot to mention last night, the Broncos lose by a final score of 21-0 in football, and the Vikings lose 66-12 to Northeast Range. The girls swim teams are down at swimming and diving team are down at Denville. Diving started at 9, swimming at noon. The Bronco volleyball team gets started in a few minutes as Esco, as they are in an all-day tournament there. And also the Fort Francis Lakers will be down in White Lakes tonight as they will be taking on the Minnesota Iron Rangers. What's going on this week? Well, Monday, nothing is going on locally. Tuesday, we've got Viking volleyball at Chisholm, the Broncos at home against Greenway, and of course the Heil Pike, the only home cross-country meet of the year, starts at 4 o'clock with the JV races. 4 and 4:30, and then about 5 o'clock for the girls varsity and around 5:30 for the boys varsity. Rainy River Volleyball is at home for their senior night on Wednesday against Vermilion at 6:30. On Thursday, the girls swimming and diving team is at home against Northeast Range. The Viking volleyball team hosts MIB. The Bronco volleyball team hosts Deer River. And then on Friday, the Bronco football team, they head to the cities. They take on Brooklyn Center. The Viking football team, they host the Lake of the Woods. The Lakers are at home against Thunder Bay, and the Bronco volleyball team heads to Duluth Marshall on Friday evening. Next Saturday, the girls swimming and diving team, they are down at Wasabi East for the Invitational, and the Lakers will be at home against English River. I don't know where the time goes, folks, every Saturday morning, but it just seems to fly by faster and faster every morning. Thanks to all our people here at Hardee's who take care of our guests. Thanks to Aaron back at the station for getting us on the air and pushing all the buttons. Thanks to our sponsors. I really appreciate it, and I know everybody else does, but most of all, thank you for listening. The Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at ksdmradio.com.